Well, good morning from the caravan. So I'm in a new spot. I had been staying for a while in Warknabeal, and I don't usually tell people where I've been until after I've gone. So that's where I was. I was kind of bunkering down there because it was fairly remote, and I figured it was a pretty safe place to ride out what appears to be I guess the third wave of, the dreaded lurgy. And being immunocompromised, I do have to take extra precautions. So, yeah, I was laying low there. I'd needed to get some medical stuff sorted out, get to a new rheumatologist, a new psychologist, get this dizzy spells sorted out, which we worked out was due to a fall that I'd had back at Bridgewater in February when I hit my head on the concrete. I got benign paroxysmal vertigo. So apparently it's something to do with the crystals in your ears that create a sense of balance when they get, knocked out of place. Hence the constant recurrent dizziness, which was really disconcerting, but really great to know that it wasn't anything more serious because, I've already got rheumatoid arthritis and that's serious enough, but you become sort of a little bit hyper vigilant and acutely aware of every symptom that you have and hope that it's not a progression of the disease that you have. Good morning, Pixie Angel. We have just woken up. We have just opened up the curtains and let the sunshine in. It looks like it's a kind of nice day out there. But I just wanted to fill you in on, the action of what happened. So the caravan park that I had been staying at ended up, they had some essential workers come in during lockdown who were working on the railways, construction workers, and unbeknownst to us as residents in the caravan park at the time, two of them had been identified as primary close contacts of cases wherever they'd been previously, because they travel around. Obviously they've got caravans and that's kind of what they do. They're a crew. They're the same crew that came in, they come in regularly into that caravan park. They'd been there a year ago. They were there, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever it was. So yeah, nobody told us that, but then eventually when they did test positive, that we were told that that they were there, but they had their own ensuite bathrooms and they'd been quarantining perfectly, no risk to anyone in the caravan park, no risk to the community. And I had my own bathroom as well. I specifically asked for an ensuite bathroom of my own because I didn't really want to be using shared communal facilities with a, compromised immune system. So, I don't want to live in fear, and I don't want that to really stop me, but I also don't want to get sick with anything, like I've just recovered from gastro. I don't want to get sick. It's not fun being sick when you're on your own and you don't have anyone to sort of sookie over you and, ask you, would you like a cup of tea or something like that, so that's been my main concern. So yeah, so these two positive cases, I had witnessed having, they were all gathering together outside the caravan every night, having beers and carrying on, and weren't as exemplary in their quarantining as the council had indicated to the community and to us, but they still brought in a van to test us all, and we're still not accepting. This was after lockdown. We were out of lockdown in regional Victoria by then. They're still not accepting any new people coming into the park once these guys tested positive. So that's slightly concerning. Anyway, so the other day, on Monday, we were informed that two primary close contacts of the first initial two cases, the ones that supposedly had had zero contact with anybody and posed no risk at all to anybody, they had tested positive. So that was, 2 weeks later. They get tested on day 13. So I only found out about that because somebody who I knew, a friend I had made out in the town, you know, we had met, actually met through the rock and roll club and, you know, the community garden and things like that, that I'd been kind of getting involved in. And they said, oh, did you know that there's, you know, more cases in the caravan park? And I was like, well, nobody's told me anything. And then I found out, you know, they you know, said the same thing. There's no risk. Finally, I found it on social media on the local community Facebook group. They had announced it that day, which is how she knew. But nobody had thought to call us who were staying there in the caravan park. That was pretty disturbing. So I was pretty angry. I was pretty angry at the manager, and I wasn't the only one. The other people who weren't, you know, apart from the permanents, I think 3 or 4 permanents that have been living there for a long time. Everyone, you know, there were a few people that were staying there sort of, you know, for a certain amount of time, but not permanents, and this big group of railway workers. And some other tradies from like a turf company or something. So nobody had been told. We were all ropeable. Why didn't anyone tell us what is going on? You know, they keep saying no risk. If there's no risk, then how come it's spread? You know, these guys, we found out that the new cases had been using the communal facilities up until, you know, only a few days prior, when one of the other guys had said to them, hey, don't use the communal facilities, you can use my ensuite. So meanwhile, they were walking from one end of the caravan park to the other to use this ensuite, standing outside their caravan again, laughing, having beers, like driving in and out regularly. We saw their cars go in and out, going to the shops, out into the wider community. And yet we're being told there's zero risk in the community, there's zero risk in the caravan park, and yet there's still a big closed, you know, actually didn't even say closed out the front of the caravan park. The sign they put up said no vacancy, and if anyone called up to make a booking, they said, sorry, we're full, when quite clearly the park was half empty. So that was pretty crazy, you know, like it was literally like, what is going on? And I thought to myself, gosh, you know, we're also concerned about misinformation, and I admit, you know, you can, no matter which side of your belief system you sit, it's hard in this day and age of being blasted with information and social media and everything to discern the truth amongst all the chaos and distraction. So, you know, I had been really relying on official advice and information, and yet here it was, quite blatantly misinformation coming from the official sources. Very concerning. And I felt the need to say, hey, you know, this isn't what's really happening. Like there is a risk out there in the community, and nobody's checking up on these guys. No, the police never came around. Nobody ever did. And obviously they weren't that sick, which is, you know, great for them, that they could sort of, you know, have a little afternoon beer session with their mates outside the caravan even after being diagnosed positive. That's great for them. A little bit concerning for me with my no immune system. So yeah, again, we just weren't told anything, and what we were told wasn't the truth. So I just had to get out of there. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, traveling around during this time where it's probably as, you know, bad as it's going to get for Victoria anyway, was probably not the best. Well, not the best idea, but, you know, obviously sitting there wasn't going to help me either. So yeah, down came the awning, and the kayak went on the back of the truck, and you know, it was, I actually surprised myself because I'd set myself up in a fairly kind of, I'm here for the long haul type of setup. I had the white picket fence around the awning and the gate up to stop Pixie from running out. That, you know, the awning was tied down with several ropes and ratchet straps because it got quite windy off in there. And, you know, the mats had been down for a few months because I was there for a few months. And you know, it was quite an effort to pack everything back up, take everything out of my ensuite bathroom, including my little mini washing machine, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you know, as dreadful as I thought that would be, it actually didn't take me very long at all. I was really surprised. I was all packed down. Everything in here was secured and packed away. The awning was, you know, awning and poles were back in the pole holder at the front of the caravan. The kayak was on the back of the truck, ratchet strapped down. Boom, we're out of there, you know. And I actually have an appointment with an optometrist today in Horsham. So, because actually these aren't prescription glasses, these are just readers and they're useless. And my prescription glasses, which were due for an update, I have like multifocals because, you know, I have problems with distance vision, close-up vision, medium vision when I'm reading my music. And I've lost them somehow. I think it was when I went to my rheumatologist appointment. That was the last time I remember having them, and I haven't seen them since, and I've searched everywhere and in my bag and everywhere. So now I've been meaning to make it. I've actually made 3 appointments with the optometrist so far in the last few months, and there was one of those things that, you know, one of the various medical things I needed to get sorted out. And every time I make an appointment, it gets cancelled because we get locked down. And I was like, what, you aren't an essential service? And she said, no, unfortunately, we're not an essential service. And I'm like, well, you're pretty essential to me because I'm blind and I really can't see, you know. So I'm excited to finally get to the optometrist, but a little bit bummed that I'm actually going to have to now buy a new pair of frames, which is the most expensive part, and then the lenses as well. And obviously, you know, wait around the vicinity until they come in. So yeah, so anyway, so I thought, well, okay, where will I go? And I didn't want to be in Yarriambiack Shire because that Shire Council, you know, had not been telling us the truth, and I just was concerned that if it was spreading out into the greater community, there's a high possibility they might get locked down there. I think the reason why they're keeping it all quiet and why they haven't you know, made the community aware of the risk or announced it as a hotspot, or even it wasn't even listed as an exposure site, and the cases weren't even listed in the official, you know, government list of, you know, where the cases have been. It was very hush hush, and I think that's because it's harvest season coming up there, and they really rely on outside workers coming in and helping with that. It's obviously, you know, the main source of income for that wheat belt area. I suspect that's what's going on, but either way, I didn't want to be in the community and in that town where obviously the risk was higher than me just hitting the road, basically, as odd as that seems. So as anxious as I was about where am I going to go, what am I going to do, and I posted and was like, oh help, I need somewhere to go and I don't know where to go. When it was all packed up and the caravan was hooked back on to the truck, and I got inside the car, and Pixie settled into her little, you know, doggy bed in the bench seat, and I cranked up the music and just hit that big wide open road. Oh, it felt good, you know, it felt really good. And I realized this weird thing that happens to me. If I stay still in one place for too long, I start getting depressed. And I was really struggling. My anxiety was through the roof. My PTSD was being triggered constantly. Yeah, it was tough. And then, you know, like I've often said to people, oh, you have to excuse me, I'm still in my pajamas. I literally have just woken up. Something happens when I'm out on the open road. I've explained it like this for years and years and years, like ever since I've been doing this, 10 years now, I've been doing this crazy caravan road tripping thing. It feels like there's wings wrapped around my heart. And when I'm out there on the open road and my little home, I can see it in the rear vision mirror, and there it goes bubbling along behind me, and everything I love and cherish and that makes me smile and makes me feel good and that I need to survive, and you know, my saxophone, my cooking facilities, the pretty cute things, the pink flamingos, whatever. it's all here, and that feeling of driving in an old car, and just, it's like these wings that are wrapped around my heart. They just unfurl, and they start doing this, and it's like my heart's wings take flight. I'm out there on the road, and that's where I feel at home. People often ask me, what's the favorite place you've been to? Where's the favorite place you've ever seen? What's your favorite place in America when you traveled around America? What's your favorite place in Australia? And I tell people all the time, my favorite place is the road from one place to another place. No matter where it's been, no matter how many places I go, my favorite part, as many beautiful things as I've seen, my favorite part is the road, the driving, the experience of just being out there. I don't know, it's like a form of meditation. My mind just, it feels free, and in a time when feeling so restricted, and it's hard with all these restrictions and border closures, and I can't travel around the lap around Australia like I had originally intended to do, two years ago. I can't do that because borders are being closed between certain states here in Australia. We have restrictions, we have lockdowns, we have, you can't have more than this many people gathering in one spot. You can't go to a festival, you can't go to a rally, you can't go to a camp out, all this restrictions. But for that brief moment when I'm out there and on the road, I'm free. And yeah, I actually feel better for having left there. Not just because of that situation. It was a great community, and I've made friends, a couple of friends maybe. I really enjoy the fresh vegetables out of the garden. Oh my Lord, I've been living on those vegetables. I just go and raid that community garden all the time because it was just abundant with all the rain we'd had. People would leave, bags of fresh oranges and lemons off their trees. So I've been just eating oranges and lemons like crazy. I'm sure my vitamin C levels are through the roof. So my immune system is probably in pretty good stead, apart from, these horrible drugs I have to take for the RA. So yeah, anyway, that was just a little update because I am on the road again. I'm only staying here for 3 days. And then I'm thinking I might, I don't know, go exploring. I have seen most of Victoria. Like, Victoria's, is one of the smallest states, so there's not a lot of it, and I have kind of traveled around a lot of it now, but I'm going to just find more places to explore, and places, maybe that I haven't been before. In the meantime, while I'm here for 3 days, and it looks like tomorrow might be nice weather. It's literally been raining so much lately. Luckily it didn't rain on my pack up and travel day. Yay, thanks. But there's a big river out here, the Wimmera River. So I'm thinking that Pixie and I might hit the kayak tomorrow, and if we do that, I'll make a video of us kayaking the Wimmera. And add that to my collection of crazy places Lisa and Pixie go kayaking. But yeah, you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm feeling much better, and I just wanted to let you all know that everything is good and life is always better on the open road. Note to self. All right, I'll catch you later. Bye.